I'm just going to send out the link to my Twitter account, and then we'll get this underway. Very happy, and thank you so much for being a special guest on my YouTube channel, on my podcast. And it's a pleasure to have you here, Evren.
Thanks for having me, Coop.
All right. We are live. Evren unlocked. There we go. Pro Wrestler, hashtag we are one.
That's right. We are definitely one.
Coop's Corner. All right. There you go. Just make sure that I can click the link so it works. There we go. All right. Sweet. We're live on YouTube. Here we are.
Hello, YouTube.
Thank you so much, Evren. Thank you, and thank you all that are joining me on YouTube, and welcome to Coop's Corner. I'm Coop, the comedian, here with my special guest. For the very first time, we have a professional wrestler, from the indie wrestling. Evren Orion is here, everybody. So please welcome Evren. Thank you so much, Evren, for coming on the show. And how are you today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Not too shabby. I'm really excited because we started to get to know each other on Twitter. Then basically we wanted to link up and do an interview together. So thank you so much for connecting with me and wanting to be a special guest on my podcast. So for all the new people here, welcome, and let's get to know who Evren Orion is. So please, Evren, why don't you tell my audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Evren Orion, and my moniker is the Collective Being, or Esoteric Mastermind. That is essentially a collection of souls. The collective being represents all that is. Everything from the top of the universe and every dimension all the way down to 3D, which is where we currently are. As for the Esoteric Mastermind, that all relates to everything that you would consider occult or ancient knowledge, all the way back to Sumeria up to now. I study history deeply, and everything that you could ever possibly want to know lies way back when. If you know anything about the Mahabharata and Vimanas, you've probably seen Ancient Aliens. That is basically where I reside at in my studies.
And so when you started professionally wrestling, you said the history. When did you start taking an interest in wrestling yourself?
That was a very long time ago. I was 14 years old, and I had attended my very first Monday Night Raw, and it was a total surprise to me. I had no clue we were going, and we get to the Frank Erwin Center in Austin, and then I see the crowd as we get there, and I was like, uh-oh. I was like, I know what this is. And I got super excited, and I was just like, oh my God, as a teen, you know, having that moment of like that rush of your first show, and you're like, so that was pretty much how that happened. And later on that night, when the show got underway, this is a very pivotal moment for Edge. This was his debut match on Monday Night Raw. He ran right past me, and time froze for a good 5 seconds. And we just looked each other in the eyes. He ran right by over the barricade into the ring. And this was the match where he unfortunately injured another star.
Oh.
So that moment and that show was what led to where I am now.
Excellent. And so currently you're right now in a couple of wrestling promotions. Can you tell the audience about the certain promotions that you're with right now?
Sure. I currently wrestle for Total Championship Wrestling in Killeen, Texas. I'll be debuting for Central Texas Championship Wrestling October 16th. I also wrestle for Anarchy Championship Wrestling, which is located in Austin. And this Sunday, you can catch me at Galactic Pro Wrestling in San Antonio, Texas.
We were mentioning that fits you perfectly, eh?
It does. When I was first informed of the company, I was like, yes, I love it. So, I appreciate the opportunity, and I can't wait. Should be a blast and a lot of fun.
Absolutely, it's always awesome to be extremely humble like you are yourself. Is there any other wrestling companies that you would like to someday wrestle for?
Absolutely. VIP Wrestling in Dallas, MPX Wrestling, which is also in the Dallas area, Evolve, and more than likely somewhere like PWG over in the East Coast. There's quite a few places that are fun that I would definitely dig working at. And Chikara, if you love gimmicks, well, then you're going to love Chikara.
You mentioned Edge, how you went to go see the show, and basically, do you have any influence wrestlers that are really helping you motivate yourself to be better each and every day?
Absolutely. If you're not motivated to get better each and every day, why are you wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
So, in my case, the people I look up to, other than those that I work with, would be Raven, Shane Douglas, Al Snow, people who really care for this business and want to see people succeed and not shit on the business. So, these are people who've paved this path, and they have been everywhere. They've done everything, and you can't really pick a few greater guys than that to say, hey, you influenced me. Raven influenced me because in that time of my life, when he was doing his grunge thing in ECW and was an outcast, I was an outcast myself, so I could relate extremely easily. And Shane Douglas, he's a mastermind himself. When he's on that mic, you're compelled to hear every word that comes out of his mouth. Al Snow, he was very goofy, he's a goofy dude. What does everybody want? And doing the whole head gimmick. Those kind of people who make wrestling fun and relatable are who I look up to. The people that I work with, Mr. B, Donnie Giovanni, Andy Dalton, so many different people that have had something great to say to me and keep me motivated to keep going further. So you can't really, it's hard to say that you can only narrow it down because you learn from everyone. Everyone influences you in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely, that's a true fact there. The people that have helped you wrestle, like your coaches so far, do you want to please give a mention about who has helped you train in the wrestling industry?
It's been an interesting ride for me, and the people that have spent time teaching me everything I need to know about this business would be Super Tex, Brent McKenzie, Mike Fire. They both worked with me together when I first got in this business. Danny Donovan and Mr. B, as I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
All of these people have been very close in working with me. Most other people will tend to give me feedback if they've got time, and that feedback helps me grow further and improve every show as well. So, like I said, you can't really narrow it down because in some way, shape, or form, people are helping you.
Absolutely.
But those people are the main ones.
You've competed in some great matches. I went on your YouTube channel and watched the matches that are available to see there. And you've been in a couple of different matches, single matches, tag matches, over the top battle royals. What's your favorite kind of match that you've competed in so far, and maybe some future matches that you want to compete in?
that's a tough one. But I would have to say my most favorite match up to this point would be the tag match with me and Donnie against Tiger Heart and Peg Leg, as I call him. And it was just such a good flow between all of us, and I felt very comfortable. Keyword is comfort. You should always be comfortable with who you're working with. Mm-hmm. So I'd say that was my favorite match so far, though I do prefer singles matches. I'm down for whatever. There's no reason to say, well, I'm not going to do this or that. You know, you only get experience one way, and that's by doing. I've done hardcore. My third match ever was a street fight. Last year I had another hardcore match. This October for TCW, it's Hardcore Halloween, so bring it on.
And you mentioned somebody that you're having you mentioned somebody on Twitter to me how you're having a rematch against an opponent that you had on YouTube. How you're actually going again, and it's not going to be a wrestling match.
Not set in stone, not at this point. It's wishful hoping on my end.
You said it's not going to be a wrestling match. It's going to be a fight.
There's a little beef in there. There's a lot of ground beef in there, to be honest. So I'm not going to touch on that too much, but yeah, let's just say it's a good thing it's a hardcore show.
Excellent. Is there any goals that you want to accomplish yourself in the ring?
Absolutely. I definitely hope to hold my first title next year at some point. I hope to get out of Texas and work my first show out of this state. Those are two very big goals for me. I'm legally blind. I can't drive. So making it out of Texas to wrestle for another company, to me, is a lot bigger than it is to other people, because they've got the ability to drive and get around. I have to maneuver my life and make things work and make it happen to get where I need to go. So it's a bigger challenge in my case, and I look forward to whatever opportunities come my way.
Let's talk about your in-ring style, your finishers and signature moves that you have. Can you describe your finishers that you like doing? I know you have a submission maneuver. I know you have a deadly knee. That's one of your favorite moves to do, I've seen.
My Cosmic Crush Super Knee, as I call it, is basically, everyone does a super kick. I wanted to be that one guy who doesn't do a super kick. So what better way to modify it than use one of the hardest points on your body, your knee. And that was really just the whole idea behind that one. My finisher, Universal Insight, actually has depth to it. It's a tornado face buster from a suplex position. Imagine an F5, but face on the knee. Ooh. Except that your forehead is landing. And what's right here, that's your third eye. So the whole point is that we go back to one of my catchphrases, unlock your reality. I'm unlocking you. I'm shattering all your perceptions, opening you up to new experiences and new beliefs of yourself. It's my way of connecting, of really getting across the spiritual aspect of what I do. My submission move, which I haven't put into place too much yet, the Quantum Web, is essentially a dragon sleeper with a body scissors, except that I roll over, so I'm on their back while they're on their stomach, and it's a pretty tight maneuver.
That sounds pretty intense.
And if you think about how the universe is formed, well, technically it was a cocoon, and when the universe was looking to expand, boom, that cocoon shot open, and here we have the entire amount of space and dimensions we have around us.
Mm-hmm. You have an interesting phrase that you're always saying, "We are one." That's basically what
Yes.
you tell everybody everywhere you go. Talk a little bit more about how that got started with you and how you decided that we are one ourselves.
Well, that comes from a lot of years of interesting paranormal experiences and a lot of just general traveling through life. You get to know different people. You go through different walks of life. You'll argue with this person about something. You'll argue with that person about something. You'll discuss something with this person. You'll get along with this person. Well, all of these things relate to a concept called mirroring. Mirroring is essentially, it's not just a psychology term, it's a spiritual aspect as well. Let's just say you don't like something about me. Chances are you actually don't like something about yourself. So I'm a mirror into you. You're a mirror into me. Thus, through the process of quantum entanglement, we are all one. We are all space dust. We are all atoms. If you think about us as a macrocosm, but you view the entire universe from the outside, we become a microcosm. In that sense, every single one of us is just a cog or a cell or an atom in the grand scheme. So we are one. Yes.
Absolutely. You were talking about some of the challenges that you've had to face while in the ring, and is there any other challenges that you've overcome that maybe my audience wouldn't have known or you haven't described to people yet? There's tons of challenges that people go through. So, is there a certain challenge that you've personally had to go through in order to be where you are today?
I have had to overcome serious depression and anxiety. My life has not been a smooth ride. It has been, honestly, it's been a big, giant penny whistle down for a long time. As of really the past year, everything has just gone straight up. And other than those particular issues, and wrestling itself is a huge mental game. Mentally, emotionally, everything takes a toll on you. You know, you may not make a ton of friends, but you're going to have a lot of acquaintances. And for me, with my heart condition as well, that's something else I have to overcome. That's why I focus so hard on fitness, because I don't want to, I don't want to die in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I would say, what better place to die than somewhere you love? I don't want to die in my bed. There's no fun in that.
Unless you like sleeping, I'm not sure.
Yeah, unless you like sleeping, how bad. But I know that I'm not going to drop dead. But it's a challenge because my body works at a different rate and works a lot differently than everyone else's due to the function of my heart. I've got 3 valves instead of 4. So you'll see that I sweat a lot more than most people, and that's due to it. My body heat has to disperse itself in a different way than everyone else's. So those couple of things combined, general life and my health, it's something to overcome, but that's why I feel that I'm meant to do this, because it is being overcome. All the things that I suffered through and went through mean nothing now. They're done. I can look at life with a very fresh, upfront, real perspective rather than wishing and wanting and wishing and wanting. No, do, and keep doing.
That's right. You mentioned that you are that you do a lot of fitness, and that's my next question I wanted to get to is when you're not wrestling, what is Evren Orion doing on his spare time? Any hobbies or any certain interests that you take in?
Other than training and more training, I train twice a day. my hobbies are they're pretty basic, to be completely honest. Some people might call it boring, but I really love cooking. Cooking is an art form to me. I was once going to go to culinary school, but I decided, I want my skills reserved for my friends and family, and, I can be creative. I can take more time than having to rush a dish in a restaurant on the cook line. We have to wait for this person to do this. We need the sauce. We need that. Blah, blah, blah. Or I can just do it all myself and have fun doing it instead of it feeling like a nuclear bomb about to explode in my head. If you watch Gordon Ramsay, well, that's why I don't really want to go to culinary school and work in a restaurant. My other hobbies are just reading and more reading. Biochemistry, endocrinology. These are my areas because they're fun, they're challenging. You discover the human body at the cellular level, and that unlocks everything else that you would learn about humans in general. You'd be surprised at how much you can learn about the human psyche in terms of biochemistry. Like certain processes relate to how you think, how the brain sometimes prefers something like a ketone instead of focusing on carbs and whatnot and sugars and glucose to process thoughts. And you can shift yourself depending on how you feed your body. You can have more energy. You might be more lethargic if you have all these carbs. And you can really enhance the human body when you know of it as well. So it also allows me to help people. And that's really what I care about doing, is helping people, healing people. That's what I've done for a long time. It's what I continue to do and want to continue to do.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, like, I love helping people myself. Like, that's why we have you here, because I'm trying to help you get more noticed in any way possible. And as you were mentioning, I'm always we're on Periscope together sometimes. You see me put stuff in my body, but it's mostly alcoholic beverages that you've seen so far.
Hey, I'm not going to complain about the Kraken, man. You got 2 thumbs up on that one.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
I'll partake with the Kraken. Yes, I will.
They even follow me on Twitter, so thank you very much. A quick plug out to them. They're probably one of those delicious.
Yeah, go follow Coop. Go follow him on Twitter now.
Yeah, and you were. I want to get to the point is I'm trying to eat healthier myself, and so I'm buying like certain veggies like cabbage and that. Do you have a certain dish that you could recommend for me to start eating on a daily basis that's pretty healthy?
Well, and this is the interesting part. Most people think that eating fat is bad. Not necessarily. It's about the type of fat you eat. If you eat a trans fat, say goodbye to your good looks, because trans fats are poison. Never eat a trans fat. That's your olein and your artificial cooking fats like that. Margarine, they used to feed that to turkeys to fatten them up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the same thing as a trans fat. So you'll want to stick to things like avocados. Like, for example, an avocado has about 20 grams of fat, but it's good fat, but it also has a ton of fiber. So that's technically a free food. You don't count fiber when you eat. So you eat a whole avocado, well, you just got a huge burst of great antioxidants, great fats, kick out bad fats. Eggs, whole eggs, despite popular belief, whole eggs are actually really good for you. And they also boost testosterone as well.
I did not know that. But
that comes from eating eggs, if you look at the molecule, it's practically the same as a testosterone molecule. So cholesterol is essentially testosterone.
So I have a question about the eggs, because I've been told numerous amount of different things about having eggs. Some people have eggs in their protein shakes. Like I have a blueberry raspberry shake I usually have in the morning to start my breakfast. And would you recommend putting a raw egg in your protein shakes, or would you rather
Never
have
eat a raw egg.
never?
You don't get full nutrition from a raw egg. And I don't know why that was ever started back in the day, but you cannot properly assimilate an egg if you do not cook it. There is a particular protein called adovin that has to be broken down. You can't break that down in your stomach. You can only break that down through heat. So you're doing yourself no favors putting raw eggs into your stomach. You'll get 25% of the nutrition that you would get from cooking the whole thing.
There you go. I won't have that anymore. And I usually I have some kind of vegan protein. I usually just put with my shake instead. So hopefully that's going to be a lot more healthier for me. Let's get back to wrestling because, is there any television or TV wrestling promotions that you're really watching these days that you're really liking on TV?
You're always watching WWE. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, the CWC was amazing.
It was.
And I'm so glad to see the Cruiserweight division on Raw. And I'm very curious to see what's going to happen between Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins. That's going to be a very interesting feud.
Is there any certain wrestlers that maybe you want to go against in the future? You did have a promo on
like TV. You mean?
Well, there's a video of you and talking about Zack Sabre Jr. So
yes, that was a contest for VIP wrestling. Basically, whoever got the most votes for that promo was going to be able to face CSJ at Setting the Bar. I didn't win that, but that's okay. It'd be great to face him someday in the future. I already mentioned Andy Dalton, and I hope that happens in the future as well. There's so much talent out there, so many names, so many people. I wouldn't complain to go against any of them. Honestly, you can't get better if you don't go against someone better than you. Sometimes you can't up your game if you don't limit yourself. Like I keep saying, there's so many people, I can't even name them all. Just in the state of Texas alone, you've got guys out there like Houston Carson, Matthew Palmer. There's just so many bunches and loads of talent. Ricky Starks. Like seriously, my brain's trying to explode trying to think of all the names right now. There's just too many.
There always is. And for any young wrestlers out there, is there a certain spot that you would suggest people to go get started if they want to take up wrestling for schools or anything? Research your locale. Find out what's around you, because I can guarantee you there's more wrestling around you than you probably ever realized. That's what happened to me back in 2010. I didn't realize what all was around me. And that's how I got my start. I went and helped set up the ring. I took a very old school path. I didn't go to a traditional school or anything. So, I've had an opportunity that most people don't get. And has it been harder? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if I didn't go through those hardships and those moments, I would not be who I am today. So I don't regret choosing the path that I chose. Doesn't mean I don't want to go to a school at some point. No. You always want to keep learning. So my advice is, if you can't find a school around you, find a good quality promotion around you. Offer to help set up. Offer to, it doesn't matter if you're helping set up the ring, as long as you're doing something, whether it's concession, whether it's the stage, as long as you're willing to help, they may be willing to help train you in return, as they did for me. Otherwise, you've got so many places across the country,
In Texas alone, you've got Funaki, he's down in San Antonio, and you have the Hybrid School of Wrestling, which is Ray Rowe, and that's down in San Antonio as well. You've got AAPW in Round Rock in Austin. Like I said, Texas is big. My brain wants to explode trying to think of all the places. You've got Reality of Wrestling, which is Booker T's promotion and school down in Houston as well. So in Texas alone, you can get high quality training. And across the states, just research your locale. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, connecting with people these days is huge compared to back in the 90s where we didn't have other connections. I mean, like the internet was just coming about and people were just starting to know what laptops were. But now in these days, to connect with people instead of sending postcards and messages in the mail, everybody's connecting on social media. And has that really helped you with connecting with everybody around you?
Yes, absolutely. And, because of the opportunities that I don't have, I actually have a degree in recording arts and music business. Well, with that comes marketing and promotion. So, I've been doing this since 2010, and when I finally put myself together, yes, social media has helped me tremendously. If you don't have social media, you're missing out on your audience. Why do you want to miss out on your audience? You've got to find what works to find your audience too. Not everyone in the spiritual community loves professional wrestling. Well, I aim to change that. It'd be nice to bring that to this world. A lot of people in the spiritual community are really hoity-toity, and they need to simmer down a little bit and open themselves more than they think they are, because they're really closed off in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. So you just got to find your voice, and when you have your voice, keep speaking it. Find that audience, because someone's going to listen. And when that one person listens, 5 others are going to listen, and then 10 others are going to listen, and it just grows and grows.
Absolutely. And we're counted down to the end of our interview, and I just want to ask you a few more things about where people can actually connect with you on social media and your website, and your t-shirt that you have there. Can you talk about your t-shirt that you have? I bought one, and I'm just waiting for it in the mail. So.
Well, thank you. Yes, you can find me on social media pretty much everywhere at Evren Unlocked. That's EVRENUNLOCKED. My website is simply EvrenOrion.com, just like the star system, Orion's belt. And my t-shirt store is on ProWrestlingTees.com/Evren Orion.
I do have to ask, who made the graphic for you? Because it's really, really spot on for you.
Yes, the graphic itself is based off of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry plays a lot into how the universe was actually formed. And if you research what's known as the golden ratio, you'll find that the universe actually takes a very spiral pattern. And if you view it from the top down, it's actually a funnel. So the whole point of sacred geometry is an artistic representation of the universe itself. As Nikola Tesla once said, if you want to understand the universe, you need to understand the power of 3, 6, and 9, which the golden ratio goes into.
Evren, I just want to quickly ask you if you have anything else that you want to mention. Like if you want to mention your once again, go check him out on his website. Is there anything we didn't brought up that you want to actually give a quick shout out to? Anything that you want people to go check out in the meantime, like your future shows that are coming up?
Just make sure you go like all the pages for the promotions. Every like matters. Every view counts. You matter. We care about you. We want you, all of us, not just me, the promoters, every other wrestler. We want your time. We want you to be involved. So, Total Championship Wrestling, Anarchy Championship Wrestling, Central Texas Championship Wrestling. They're new, so go give them some likes anyway. They're new, but they're quickly growing. They're a great promotion, great matches, great workers, and everything else. Heart of Texas Wrestling as well. I've been with them for quite a few years, since their inception pretty much, and they're another great company to work for. They've recently exploded pretty large. Main Event Pro Wrestling, another quality company, great people that do great things for the community and wrestling in general, so definitely make sure you go like all those companies. Like I said, there's wrestling all around you, and you probably don't even realize just how much there is. And that's just in Texas alone, in this state, in this locale. So imagine across the entire country just how much there really is out there.
Evren, I personally once again want to thank you for being a fantastic guest, and you're a very humble person, and a very honored that you reached out to me, and I'm very glad to have you on the show. And please, you're more than welcome to come back on anytime if you ever want to do another interview. If you ever want to help promote any of your upcoming shows, please feel free to give me a call again, because I really enjoyed this interview I had with you, and I look forward to helping you out as much as possible. So please, everybody, make sure you go check him out on his website, go follow his YouTube channel, his social networks, and if you're in his area, go check out his shows, man, because we love to.
Come on now, we want to see you.
Absolutely, and Evren, once again, thank you so much for coming on as a special guest for this podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly enjoyed myself, and I'm always down anytime.
And thank you very much to all the YouTube viewers that were watching this whole time. You can go look at the replay on this live on the YouTube channel. And Evren, I look forward to seeing your career in the industry more, and I look forward to seeing many more of your shows. And thank you so much once again.
Thank you.